Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Turner. I'm an analyst here at Evergreen Solutions. And today I'll be talking with you a little bit about the classification and compensation study that my firm will be performing for Isle of Wight County. So let's get started. First, I want to talk a little bit about who Evergreen is. Evergreen is a national public sector consulting firm. We have worked in over 46 different states. This study in particular, we have done over 500 of compensation and classification studies. So we have, which gives us extensive experience with the process, the issues that we might see. We're very confident in our ability to provide the best recommendation possible for you guys. Evergreen has extensive public sector human resource experience. We have expertise in higher education, school divisions, local governments, state agencies, and quasi-governmental organizations. Overview of the study goals. There are two main goals for a study. We want to ensure internal equity and external equity. The way we will help ensure internal equity is through the JAT, the Job Assessment Tool, which we'll talk more about in a few minutes. Now, what internal equity means is two jobs that are found in different departments that are performing similar duties and have similar responsibilities. We want to make sure that they're being compensated fairly and equally. For external equity, we will help ensure external equity with a market survey. Now, a market survey, we will go out and we will directly compare what, let's say, your organization pays an accountant compared to what your peer organizations pay an accountant, and we'll see how you guys match up against that. With these two, with both the JAT and the market survey, we will produce a recommendation to provide the organization with a classification and compensation system that is equitable for both internal and external equity. Now, with employee participation, with the JAT, it is huge for employee participation. The JAT will lose its value if you guys do not participate and help provide us with the most up-to-date information about your jobs. A few other ways you guys can participate in this study is by watching this video, by participating in the focus groups that will be coming up in the next few weeks. And then again, like I said, completing the job assessment tool, which I'll talk about more in the next slide. And for supervisors, for them to complete their supervisor review, which is to review their direct reports, job assessment tools, and the quick management issue tool. Now, the JAT, the job assessment tool, is designed to gather the most up-to-date information about each job. It is very critical for the study, especially for the internal equity piece of the study. JATs are going to be used to help us determine how work is organized. It will help us determine whether the organization is paying competitively and fairly. It'll help us recommend appropriate pay levels and ranges, and it will help us design a new system that is fair and equitable. Now, the JAT can be completed anytime within the 2-week period, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from any computer with internet connection. The way it will work is through this email that you're watching this video, you will see the unique ID and the link to the server, JAT server. JAT server will be available and open for 2 weeks, starting on Monday, November 8th. For the supervisor review, that will last 1 week, and it will start immediately following the completion of the employee portion of the JAT. Now, JAT is set up like a job description. It starts off with section 1, the job overview, type of work performed, your education work experience. Section 2 is the essential job functions. Section 3 will have the 5 job factors regarding leadership, working conditions, complexity, decision-making, and relationships. Section 4 is the equipment and machinery. Section 5 is physical abilities needed for your job. Now, once you click the link provided in the same email as this video, this is what will pop up. You'll put your unique ID in right there, and you'll have your name confirmation. Now, if you don't see your last name, please email us, let us know. Email us at jat@consultevergreen.com. We'll happily help assist you with any issues you have with this as you go out and participate in the job assessment tool. Now, if you see your last name, it means you're good to go. You press continue. So once you hit continue, this is what will pop up. You have 2 options, employee JAT and the supervisor review. First, we want to focus on the employee JAT, but this is the same exact way the supervisor will be able to log in and perform the supervisor review. Again, as you see at the bottom, you'll see the JAT@consultevergreen.com. That email is for your convenience. Let us know if there's any issues you're having with the job assessment tool or the supervisor review, and we'll happily help you. Now, once you click the job, now let's click into the employee JAT. So we'll pop up the 5 sections as I explained earlier. Now let's click into the basic information. So first section, section 1, basic information. You'll see your last name, first name, and job title. Now, if you see any issues with your job title, your name, please email us. We'll happily fix it for you. We need the most accurate information as possible, so please let us know. First part you'll fill in the job assessment tool is your job introduction. It's just a brief overview of your job, 2 to 3 sentences max. Basically, this is what you would tell, let's say you're at a coffee shop with your friend, they ask you what you do for a living. Basically, those 2 to 3 sentences you tell them is what you put in this section. Next part is supervisor responsibilities. This is where you tell us the amount of employees that you are directly responsible for, that directly report to you, and that indirectly report to you. If there are not any employees that directly report to you or indirectly report to you, then you can just leave it blank. After section 1, you'll see, let's go back. So after you let us know about your direct or indirect employees, you'll see the type of work. So we want to know the level of work that best describes the type of work you perform. So we'll start off with clerical manual labor type of work, labor trade-based occupations, all the way down to executive advanced professional. Please read each of these carefully and pick whichever one best matches your job. Next, you'll see the education experience. Please let us know the level of education experience that's needed for someone starting your job, let's say tomorrow. We are not looking for the level of education experience you have currently, but the level of education experience you feel would be necessary for someone starting their job tomorrow. Next is the licenses and certifications. First one, please let us know any licenses and certifications that are required for your job now. And then below, preferred, if there's any certifications or licenses you feel would help someone who's starting your job perform the job better. As you can see at the bottom, there's a big green save button. Please remember to press save at the end of each section. The JAT does not save automatically, so you will need to press save so we can capture your information. If you do not, then we will not be able to capture any of your information and you'll need to redo it. Next, section 2, essential functions. This section is the bread and butter of the JAT. This is where you'll be able to let us know exactly what you do. All your jobs, all your responsibilities, everything you do throughout the year. Now, the reason we say throughout the year is because, let's say, for example, accountant. We want to make sure that we capture all the essential functions of your job. Now, for an accountant, a main part of the job is to close the financial books at the end of the year. That is only one task to perform one time, but it's a very important task for that job. Again, so you'll put each task in the task boxes on the JAT website, on the server. Once you log in, you'll have 15 different boxes to fill in, plenty of space for all your duties and responsibilities. Next to its percent. So we want you to put the number, well, basically the percent of time you spend on each task. And then priority, please click the top 2 to 3 most tasks that are the most most important for your job. Section 3, job factors. In this section, you'll have 5 different multiple choice answers, all set up the same way. So the first question we have is leadership. So we want to know the level of leadership you have in your organization for your job. So the first option will have very little to no leadership. I follow specific directions provided by my supervisor and receive feedback on what I do. All the way down to I determine strategy as well as long-range goals for your organization and so on. So it starts with very little leadership, all the way down to you leading the whole organization. At the bottom, you'll be able to write in, there'll be a text box to provide us more context for your decision, but please read through each of these very carefully and pick whichever one most closely matches your job. Next question is the working condition. This is, we really want to know the condition you experience in your job, the working condition you have. So it'll start off with, I work in a relatively safe and secure and stable work environment, moving all the way down to, I regularly make decisions that will and could lead to major community or organizational consequences. Again, please pick whichever one best matches your job. And there will be a text box at the bottom where you can find more context and clarify why you picked what you picked, if you'd like. Next question is the level of complexity of your job. Again, it'll start off with it'll be saying your job is very little, not very complex. I perform a specific clerical or manual labor task. Moving down to I develop policies, long-range plans, and allocate funds. Again, pick whichever one best matches your job title. And there'll be a box at the bottom to provide more context. Next question is decision-making. We want to know the level of decision-making that you have in your job. Again, just like the last few questions, it will start off with very little decision-making to none, moving all the way down to making decisions for the whole organization as a whole. Again, please pick whichever one best matches your job. And again, you can provide more context at the bottom. Last question, the relationships. We want to know the types of relationships you presented in your position. Do you work primarily alone? Do you work with more than 10 coworkers who are engaged in the same activities as you? Or are you interacting with senior managers, citizens, and elected officials on a regular basis? Please read through each of these carefully, like the last 4, and pick whichever one best matches your job. Again, just like the last ones, please, you can provide more context at the bottom in the text box below. All information will help us. More information will just help us make a better recommendation. So I really encourage you guys to be able to write in and explain to us why you picked what you picked. Again, just remember, just for each section of this JAT, remember to press save at the very bottom so we can capture information. Section 4. We want to know the equipment and machinery that you need to use on a daily basis to perform your job adequately. Do you use small office equipment? Do you use computers for data entry? Do you have medium equipment machinery such as vehicles or commercial mowers? Please read through each of these options carefully and pick whichever one best matches your job. Finally, section 5 of the JAT, the physical abilities of your job. First, it'll start with the type of work. We want to know if your job is a sedentary job, light work involving lifting no more than 20 pounds, heavy work involving lifting more than 100 pounds, and so on. Please read each of these carefully and pick whichever one best matches your job. Finally, the required physical abilities. For this part, we want you to check the box on which physical abilities you need that are very important and that you need to perform your job adequately. Do you need to be able to balance for your job? Do you need to be able to speak well for your job? Do you need to be able to have visual, to be able to see well for your job? And so on. Again, read each of these carefully and let us know whichever one you need to perform your job adequately. Again, I want to remind everyone to please press save at the end of each section. That's the end of the JAT. Before I move on to talking about the supervisor review, I just want to talk about some tips for the JAT. Remember to hit save like I explained, because it will time out after about an hour. So remember to hit save as well. JAT should take you no more than 30 to 45 minutes to perform. Again, I just want to let you guys know we have 2 weeks. It'll be a 2-week period starting Monday, November 8th. If you have any questions at all, please email us at jat@consultevergreen.com or give us a call at 850-383-0111. We'll happily help you guys if you have any questions with your JAT or through this process. Now I want to move on to the supervisor review. The reason why we started doing a supervisor review is because we realized that supervisors tend to know the problem jobs in their organization. They know which jobs are classed wrong, which jobs are not being compensated enough, which jobs are having a hard time recruiting for, or which job the retention rates are very low. For the supervisor review, when it starts, the JAT will be completely locked. Supervisors will not be able to change any answers. The only thing they'll be able to do is either agree or disagree, or provide additional comments in the text box to why they agree or why they disagree. Again, like I said, the supervisor review period will begin after an employee JAT entry is complete. So to log in the supervisor review, same way to log in the JAT. You'll see the JAT box, and then below that will be the supervisor review box. You click that, and this will pop up. You'll see all your direct reports, their names, their class title, if they clear the JAT, if they clear the supervisor review. Now, if they have not cleared the JAT, you do not have to worry about providing a supervisor review for them. However, if you'd like to add more context for us, if you realize that positions didn't complete it, you can go in and provide us some, basically you can write in the boxes, the supervisor box, saying if some of the tasks they perform, some of the requirements like education experience requirements, things like that. But let's move on. So if they did complete the JAT, and if you clicked into one of the ones to complete it, so once you click into one of the jobs, one of the employees that have completed their JAT, this will pop up. You'll see exactly what they put. You'll see what they put there for the description, the type of work, the education, the experience, the certifications they think they need, supervises directly, the number of supervisors they supervise indirectly, things like that. You'll be able to put if you agree or disagree with what they put, and you'll be able to provide more information in the text box below. It'll be like this for each section and for each employee. Again, I like to reiterate that you do not have to provide more information if they did not fill out a JAT, the employee, but it would help us if you did provide a little more context for in the text boxes. So now for the MIT, the management issue tool, you'll be able to click it right here. So let's click into it. This is where you'll be able to find this with more context with if there's a classification issue, if there will be low retention rate, things like that. So what it will look like once you click in. So it'll have your last name and your job title, and you'll have to manually put in the job title for review and the specific employee's name for that job. So like I said earlier, you'll be able to put if you feel there is a classification issue for that job, if you feel like the job is having a hard time for retention rate, can't recruit anyone for the jobs, have been very difficult, things like that. Again, I encourage each supervisor to really take their time with this and let us know which jobs they feel are the problem jobs in their organization. So that is it for my presentation today. Again, if you have any questions throughout this whole process, through the supervisor review, through the JAT, please give us a call, email us at this email. We'll happily help you guys. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. Now I want everyone to go and fill out your JAT. Thank you guys. Again, please email us if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.